Hi, welcome to our channel, The Buzz on the Block, with Yaya Mack and Nikki Dillinger, where we talk about the hottest topics and more. Hey everyone, how are y'all doing? Hey Nikki, what's going on with you?
Oh, I got them fat fingers. I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Hey y'all. So, we're definitely Buzz on the Block. We are doing an episode of Viral True Crimes today. So we want to let everybody know that this is a pre-recording. So we definitely want to thank everybody for joining us tonight and talking about a couple of crime cases that we want to go over with everybody. So we want to welcome everybody, and we're going to get into these viral true crime stories. So how you been doing?
I'm peaceful. I'm peaceful. Just chilling.
Yes.
Chilling with the fur babies.
Yes. Me, I've just been chilling too today. Um, and that's pretty much it. So we want to welcome y'all to the actual Buzz on the Block, and we want to welcome you to the viral true crime episode that we want to do with y'all today. Um, you guys are welcome to comment on this video after this video is posted, and we will definitely try to, interact with you guys in the comment section when this is over. Please thumb this video up, share it, um, put some hearts on this video for us, please. And we appreciate the love.
Every time you say that, it make me think of that New Edition song. Smack it up, flip it, rub it down.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know why, but it do.
Yes. Girl. So this is the first time that me and Nikki has ever done a pre-recording. So we are new to this right now. So please be patient with us tonight. Please be patient.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
So who first on your agenda?
Oh, so y'all, we're gonna talk about the young lady named Kimaya. Um actually let me go and fix that as we speak right quick. Let me see. I just want to fix it right quick. Makes me feel like I gotta fix it.
Did her dad get arrested for that?
Yeah, so her dad got arrested. It was a 13-year-old girl that we believe his mom um and him had something to do with her death. When the grandmother got home, there was a lot of things left around the apartment, around the house that looked like she was there, and something happened. Her clothes, her keys, everything that she probably would have left behind was left behind. They would
And
soon later,
didn't they say he almost decapitated her?
yeah. So basically, they found her in a burnt house where they said that her throat was cut, her hands were cut off, and they believe that he had something to do with it. So I'm pretty sure that you guys, it's been all over social media, the news, and everything. A lot of people have been outraged about this young girl, losing her life and everything. So we're gonna watch a video of that um and get into it. Okay. To kind of give y'all a backstory on what took place with this young girl Um, you know, so let's get started on it. Let's do that. Let's get started on this whole thing. Um, prayers to the family that's outraged about it. Um, our condolences to the family. I know this has been really tough for them watching, all their videos and the outrage of the community, and as they should be. Um, has I mean, this really has taken a toll on the people that love her on this whole situation because they were looking for her and they couldn't find her at one point, and when they did, she was unalived. Okay, so let's take a look at the video that we're gonna show y'all.
Got him. He's hit once in the arm. All right, he's hitting the side here. Yep, you're hitting the side. Okay, you'll be fine. Hey, look.
This case is one of the most horrific cases I ever heard. This is a 14-year-old that was murdered, raped, had her hands cut off, and her throat almost cut off. This is an absolute animal that came into our town.
You kindly hit the like button when you get in here. Now, we got a horrible story going viral out of somewhere in Ohio called Toledo, where the whole community is torn up and apart about this incident, where a 13-year-old girl named Kamani went missing for a week and her body was found mutilated in an abandoned building. Initially, it was speculation that the whole family was involved, from the mother to the grandmother, but her father is being charged with the murder after fleeing to Columbus and being apprehended in a shootout that we're about to play here in a minute. But first, I need you to hit the like button and share this to spread awareness, because I like to bring to you some new details that the national media isn't covering. Now, one thing we ain't gonna do, we ain't gonna spin this into a murder mystery conspiracy theory, but we is gonna bring you the facts from some viewers that was born and raised in Toledo, Ohio. Now, according to my sources, in 2019, Darnell Jones would take to a Facebook Live. Now, looking back at it, the community is at a disarray based off the things he said. The public feels he should never been released after being interrogated by the Toledo Police Department.
Going through something mentally and physically fucked up with her. I ain't been feeling the same. Ain't nothing wrong, man. Just, I don't know. There's a lot of shit that's on my chest that I can't control. It ain't, like, I don't know how to explain it, man. All I gotta do is just keep trying to stay good, be good, man. That's all. I just be over with. I hate the way I think. I hate the way I see things. And all I do is sit back and try to just act like I don't see shit. Because if I do something about it, I'm going to jail. I'm the one getting in trouble.
Yeah, she has her own keys, so she left glasses and keys. It ain't adding up. You know what I'm saying?
Does she have a cell phone?
Yeah, and it's going straight to voicemail. So she tried to call me at 1:29, and then she called my girl like 5 other times, and the last call came in at 1:49. So she was trying to get in contact with somebody.
And so no one has had contact with her. Nobody saw her. Who was the last person to really see her?
It was me. I came over here because she said that if it seemed like somebody was trying to break into the house. So I sat for an hour, me and my cousin, we sat over here. And we left around like 12:30-ish. And she tried to call at like 1:29 and I missed the call. So she was calling everybody else too.
What you're trying to kill me?
Dude, show me your fucking hands right now. Pull your fucking hand out of your. I swear to God, pull it.
Shots fired. Shots fired. Dennis in a second.
Don't fucking move. Don't move.
Alright, suspect down. All you guys are okay.
Don't move. He's got 33 right there.
33 in his hand.
No, it's a walkie-talkie, but there are 33s right here. Don't you move or you're gonna get shot. Okay? All right. Got it. Yep.
That's him.
Somebody get out.
Somebody get on the main here. Get us a medic.
I'm working on it.
All right. On your belly.
All right. I got cuffs. There you go. Thank you, brother. We'll get you help, okay?
I just want to die, bro.
No, I know, but we can't allow that.
I don't want to live.
Get us some pressure. Secure this scene.
Okay, I'm working radio.
All right. Fine. Him in the car.
He did too.
All right. You did? I did not. Okay. He did. Okay. You good?
All right.
You good? All right.
I know.
All right.
Listen to me. Listen, I gotta roll you off. I gotta get you up on your side, okay? I gotta get you up on your side. I got you.
All right. Where you hit at, bro?
Yeah.
On your leg.
He's all hit right here.
I know. He's hitting his arm once.
Need a medic here now. Where's your
I know.
team?
They're coming. Okay. We got him. He's hit once in the arm. All right.
He's hitting the side here.
Yep. You're hitting the side.
Okay.
You'll be fine.
Hey, look. You know what's good about this?
Sit up. Okay.
You're gonna be fine. I know.
Okay.
I know.
Where you guys need it.
There you go. How's that? Okay.
Get up.
Okay. We're gonna leave you sit here like this. Take a deep breath.
Copy that.
Do me a favor. Take a deep breath for me, okay?
Hey, move your car. Block that road. You're on shell casing. Get that road blocked.
We can't lay you down. Okay, you
We're
gotta
holding
stay
you
up. I'll hold you up. All right. You just relax. Lean back in there. There you go.
You're gonna be fine.
Listen. Hey, nothing's ever that bad. All right. Okay. Well.
Darnell, right? Do you have anything else on you? Do you have any more guns?
Where's
Yes.
the guns at? Where's your other gun at?
I don't.
Darnell. Hey, Darnell.
Do you have anything else on you?
Yeah, you said you had a gun.
I don't. I think he's just fading. I don't know. Nope. Just stay back, okay, please.
Stay back.
Hey. Okay. Okay. We're making good witnesses. You're fine, ma'am. You're fine.
We got to get him searched. The medic's going to take him.
I know. Hey. Hey, you guys, just go chill.
Somewhere else.
Hey, have that cruiser start getting scene tape.
Let the medic in. Get back.
They're fine. It's fine. Yeah, we need a cart. We need a cart.
Cart. I know. Stay with me, bro. Keep talking to me, guys.
Dave, 511. If anyone is listening at home, officer support.
Sit here, legs, arms.
Which way do you want us head? Here. Right there. Okay.
Oh. You need him out of the cuffs?
Yeah, we're gonna need them out. All right.
We're gonna. Hey, listen. We're gonna roll you over one more time. All right. Gotta get those cuffs off you. So you relax.
Clean up. There you go. He's hitting the arm,
Leg, arm, and I believe left chest. Okay.
I get a good search on him. Damn. Everything's got to come off. You taking him all down enough in this? Yeah. All right, that's fine. Pull this off. Right. Cut the stuff off. I just got your gun. You have to help us lift? Yep. Grab one, grab it. Hold on.
I just want to know if it's my baby. They still not telling me nothing. It takes nothing. It's nothing to take a picture. It's nothing to, you know what I'm saying, let me know when the coroner's bringing her out so I can see if that's indeed my baby.
It is being said that the biological mom stayed out of state and haven't had Kimani since she was 9 months old, according to her mother, Dorothy, which is Kimani's grandmother. That's when custody was transferred to the godmother, which is Dorothy's best friend.
Her name is Tiara Cashton, and I found out how Dorothy have custody of Tiara's daughter. It was an incident that took place in 2012 when Tiara got arrested when her daughter was only weeks. Back on December 17, 2012, Tiara was with 3 to 4 males who jumped the victim, beating them on the head. As this was happening, Tiara was stealing the victim's credit card out of his pockets. This was seen by a neutral third-party witness who was working in the area. Charged with robbery, she had a $50,000 bond with no percent. She had a public defender. She ended up taking a plea. And ever since that day, Tiara's mom had custody of her daughter. So now we know about Tiara.
After Tiara caught that case, she went on with her life, according to her sister. She didn't even make an attempt to get Kalani back. In fact, she was more concerned about being placed on child support than Kalani's actual well-being. So sad.
Have you been in contact with Tiara, the mother?
Yeah, I've been in contact with my sister. It's been briefly. It's been over through text. Like I said, I live in Indianapolis. I seen her yesterday, but that was very brief. It wasn't even more than 5 minutes. It was more or less that she wanted to show me my other niece, Kazaria, which is Kimani's youngest sister. But it wasn't like it was oh, sis, what are we going to do, any of that. And I don't wish this on nobody. I really don't. I could, your mind go different places when it's a baby. That was a baby. Like I said, I have a very close relationship with Kimani. She was a tomboy. She wasn't out looking for, trying to be fast or, mischievous or any of that. So for her mother to come down and have all this to say and all that, Tiara, where was you for the past 4 years? We haven't seen you since Kimani TikTok party. You haven't called her. You haven't sent her anything. You haven't said, oh, baby, I'm going to come get you for a weekend. We haven't seen you until this happened. Why we got to see you when it's a tragic moment? So, Tiara, where do you stand?
But Tiara lives in Cleveland, correct?
Yes.
So the past 4 years, you're saying there was very little communication.
Very, very minimum. It wasn't even, she'll call my mom. She'll go through me and say, have you talked to mommy? And I'm like, no, about what? And she'll say, oh, well, she got custody of Kimani and she's trying to get child support from me. So it wasn't that Tiara was concerned about Kimani. It was more of the why she want child support from me.
In your care, when is the LCCS? Who exactly did she come from, and how did she?
She came from her other legal guardian. I choose not to state her name. But she came from her other legal guardian because the other legal guardian and I were best friends. The other legal guardian is my daughter, Kimani's mom, godmother. And we had already discussed early on, because she's been with this person since she was 9 months old. My daughter has never really had custody of Kimani. So she's been with this person since she was 9 months old until, like I said, maybe 5.5 years ago.
Now, while Kalani was attending Spring and Bennett Elementary, it was said that she would show up to school with bruises on her and other signs of abuse, to the point that the student reached out to the teacher, and the teacher ultimately contacted Children Protective Service. Keep in mind that all this information was being released after her body was found, sending this community in a rage against the grandmother Dorothy as they demanded answers.
She came to school with bruises on her eyes. That's 7th grader Imani Fisher, classmate of Kimani's from her most recent school, Spring Elementary. Fisher says she would often see Kimani come into class with visible markings, so she and other students decided to say something to a teacher.
She said she would deal with it, but I don't think nothing happened.
TPS representatives say they have no records of abuse against Kimani to either CSB or TPD. But it's also not the first time someone has raised concerns about what was going on inside Lateeg's home. Kayleen Harabedian was her 6th grade English teacher at Bennett Venture Academy, the last school she attended before spring. Harabedian says she also spotted visible markings and bruises on Kimani.
It's hard because, especially in a role like education, your day doesn't end at 3:30. You take these things home with you. They weigh on you. I'm a parent myself, and I tried my best to make sure that she was removed from that environment.
Harabedian claims she put in multiple calls to CSB. Kimani's grandmother, legal guardian Dorothy Lateeg, says they did come knocking on her door, but she denies there was any abuse in the home.
I've went through this twice because the school system had contacted CSB on her behalf when she went to Bennett Academy. And they came in, they did a case study and closed it. They've stated there's a way to chastise children without physically harming them. You need to whoop them on their behind, nowhere else. So, okay, with that in mind, I knew that.
Hey, what you gotta say?
Right here.
That's right. Dorothy, you gonna get your ass whooped. No, I ain't leave her alone.
That ain't happening.
That ain't happening. Dorothy, what you gotta say?
The fuck you mean what I got to say?
What you gotta say?
With this shit.
Oh, you ain't know about me.
Now, although the father is being charged, there's still some people out there that really would like to see the grandmother see her day in court because she was Kimani guardian at the time. In this clip, you can see an angry mob confronting her and her family in front of her house.
So, them motherfuckers scared to leave the yard, cuz. They scared to leave the yard. We tell these hoes to come in the street, these motherfuckers won't leave the yard. Soft ass niggas. This family, y'all sleep, nigga. We outside, stay in the safe zone.
Alexis.
Lee, a memorial sits in front of the home where the teen's body was found, and it keeps growing and growing. Toledo's police chief says that this investigation is far from over. Darnell Jones is still in a Columbus hospital after he was shot by police there on Tuesday. He's accused of killing his 13-year-old daughter, Kimani Lateeg. Police found her body in an abandoned home on Miami Street. Could he be brought back to Toledo today?
I don't know the timing, so I don't want to speak to it because I honestly don't know when he will be brought back. And I don't know if they're talking to him or not because I don't know if he wants to talk to him. So there's a lot of things, but I know we sent detectives down this morning.
Chief Michael Trinley says this case has taken an emotional toll on the family, community, and officers.
It's probably the worst possible outcome of any one of these missing cases that we work.
He says when the teen was reported missing, officers interviewed family and friends, executed search warrants, and collected surveillance evidence in this case.
Sunday, we brought in cadaver dogs. We were out there searching and beating down the wooded area, and there's some things that led us to those directions, to those areas.
Kimani's father was interviewed.
Dad was interviewed. He gave us his version of the story. Eventually, we had nothing to say that was not true. Those are things that happened later on in the week that we started saying some of the things he told us was not true. Why is he lying to us?
Darnell Jones' current girlfriend felt he wasn't being all the way truthful with her when he advised her to shut off the cameras in the home. Paranoid of being questioned by the police again because he was being deceptive. Around this time, she possibly learned from a family member that Darnell possibly was storing evidence in her house. In fear for her and her daughter's life, she contacted the police. And that's when Darnell took flight to Columbus. So the moment he called her cell phone, the Toledo police reached out to Columbus. And the rest is history. Shout out to her for being brave and standing up, because if it wasn't for her, he'd probably still be on the run.
Jones' girlfriend telling 13 Action News she called detectives when she learned he allegedly hid evidence in her home. 13 Action News reporter Alexis Means remaining on this story on your side with new details in this case. Alexis?
Lee and Christian, she told me that Darnell Jones has never been violent toward her, and she told me that she doesn't know why he killed Kimani.
Honey used to be at my house all the time, and we loved her. And now Now she gonna have to grow up without seeing her sister anymore. I mean, I don't feel bad for anything he going through, but her, she did not deserve none of that she got. Nobody did.
She didn't want us to show her face, but you can hear her voice trembling as Darnell Jones's then girlfriend shares how she helped Toledo police with evidence in the case. Last Friday, police set up a meeting to question Jones.
The weird thing about it is because before they even showed up, he asked me to turn my cameras off. I have cameras in my house, and he asked me to turn them off. And I was like, why would you want me to turn the cameras off? He said, because I didn't come home till 5 o'clock that morning. And he didn't want them to suspect anything because he didn't show up till 5. And I'm like, well, thinking in my head, I'm like, well, if you don't have anything to hide, then why should I turn the cameras off? And I didn't, but he thought I did.
She and Jones have a 2-year-old daughter together. She says she was in the room when Jones tried to hide evidence connected to the case in her house.
After police took us downtown and questioned us, I came back home before he did, and my family that was here informed me that he hid something under my stairs in my basement. So I called the detectives, and they came and did a search warrant and grabbed it. And once he noticed those were gone, that was the last time I seen him.
Police executed a search warrant. What did he hide under your stairs?
It was like a mat for the back of your truck, not a pickup, but SUV. You know, when you lay your seats down and you put that rubber mat in there to protect the back of your seats in case you're hauling something. That's what he rolled up and put in my basement. And his work boots, which were caked with mud. I never seen him put it under there, but I wasn't about to hold no evidence for him or none of that. He must have thought that.
Jones went on the run to Columbus, where he used to live.
After the search warrant and he disappeared, we left the house because I was scared that he might come back and harm one of us.
Police located him after he called his girlfriend, and she called police.
I believe the biological mother, Tierra, on the press run right now. In a recent interview with True Crime with Savage Royalty, shout out to her and go check her out. Kalani's biological mother says she never even took her from the hospital and basically explains the reason why she lost custody.
So I just have a few questions. I don't want to hold you because I don't really want to put too much on you than you can bear, okay? So the main question, the $1 million question that a lot of people are confused about is, how long was Kimani with her grandmother and the godmother?
And my godmother since she was 1.5 years.
Did you actually lose custody? I heard said something where they lied on you and said that you that you had did something and that's how she got custody. How did you lose custody of her?
I never got to take her home.
And they didn't give a reason?
It was a bunch of false allegations that were put on me. They said everything from me being a junkie, me bouncing from place to place with strangers, me medically neglecting. They said that I medically neglected my daughter, and a bunch of other things that were not true. I brought them full documentation of everything that was going on because I wasn't living up here. I was living in Cleveland even then. And I only came up here to allow my mother to see her grandbaby be born. I'm her first child. And I was told that I was supposed to have been aborted. So the fact that she still gave me life when she really didn't have the means to do so, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to give her that gift.
So, but you said she never went home with you though, right? She never got a chance to go home. You just gave birth to her. Took her from the hospital. Okay, so
And at the end of the day, everybody could have did a better job protecting this baby girl. From the godmother to the mother to the grandmother to Children Protective Services. Darnell Jones is a monster. And I'm pretty sure he survived them 3 shots because God had different plans for him. Death would have been too easy. And where he had it, he gonna have to pay for seeing within the prison gates by the inmate. Because I know for a fact they ain't fond of his kind. So I'm gonna leave it up to them to make it make sense when he walking them walls. Rest in heaven, Kimani, and I'm sorry you had to endure this pain on earth. But get your rest and know that you woke the world up with this one, and your story will never be in vain. Parents, pay attention to your children, especially them little girls, and to the communities that came together. Continue carrying out this unit on a daily basis, and not just when tragedy happens. And the change will start to present itself. This is the story of Kamani Lateef. Everybody love, live life. Don't forget to give me a like.
Hey y'all. So we just finished watching the story about Kimani. It's a very, very, very sad story.
Yes, it is.
It's just something like, our babies is just unsafe. Our babies unsafe. I mean, you can't even have a man without worrying about your child being harmed, whether or not it's the biological daddy or somebody that you bring new into your life. Is just completely sad. It's just completely sad. These men are unliving these women like crazy.
I think sometimes they get close to the woman just to get to the
And the
kids.
kids. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of pedo stuff. We cover that a lot, on the Empires Crumble, and you do too on Clown TV Nation. Please subscribe to the Empires Crumble and Clown TV on Facebook and on YouTube. Please thumbs this video up. Also, thumbs it up over here on the Empires Crumble and over there on Clown TV Nation on YouTube. We come together as one to bring the news to you guys. And so yeah. Just sad. These babies these babies are not safe. These women are not safe. Is a very sad situation, and the fact that it seemed like she had been getting the views. What took me back is when the grandmother said, "Hey, well, there was bruises on her body. People got involved, came to the house and said, well, there's other place to hit her. You don't have to hit her like on her arms and on her upper body. You can hit her on her butt. It don't sound right." And I feel like the people, the community have a right to be outraged. The fact that her hands were cut off is bananas. Like, that's brutal, sis.
And then for her dad to do it.
Yeah.
That's crazy, boy.
And she was sexually assaulted, right?
I believe so.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. Yes, y'all. So, we'll stay up on that story. We'll bring you updates when we can about that story. We still have an Isaiah story that we still gotta do the latest updates, and that should actually the court that case is probably in court right now. Probably it's the case, it started.
It is.
Yeah, it started. All right, y'all. So the next story is a very, very, very crazy, crazy, crazy story. So this lady is actually from California, and she ended up getting with this guy in jail that had murdered 4 people. And she went up to go do a conjugal visit. Hard time to say that. Conjugal visit. There we go. I'll be feeling like so she went up there to go visit him. And if y'all don't know what that is, that's when you're married. Some of the prisons will allow you to have an overnight stay with your significant other. So she ended up having an overnight stay with him, and he unalives her. Called a prison guard and say, "Hey, she's not moving. She's not breathing." So let's get into it, because I was like, "Oh no." So we're gonna get into that video. This is a very, very, very sad case. This lady has grandchildren, children that now have lost their mom. So let's go ahead and watch it, y'all.
He must have had that Killer D.
You say who?
Not funny. I said he must have had that Killer D.
Mm-mm. Yeah. I don't know, but he definitely. But why would you get with somebody that you know had already murdered 4 people,
Poor self-esteem.
unalive 4 people already? You married him. She married him.
I know. It had to be low self-esteem because what woman in their right mind gonna do that?
Right. All right, y'all. Let's take a look at the video.
Again, this time his own wife during a conjugal visit. David Brinson, sentenced for the brutal murders of 4 people, was the last person to see his wife alive. At first, authorities believed she died of natural causes, but the autopsy tells a different story. The truth? She was strangled. Now her family is demanding answers. Like, how could this happen inside of a prison? And was there a deadly plan all along? I'll walk you through the details. For Law and Crime News, I'm Kennedy Walker. This woman, Stephanie Brinson, known as Stephanie Dowles, was found dead inside a California prison in November of 2024. She is now at the center of a homicide investigation because authorities say she was strangled. Her husband, a convicted mass murderer, already serving life behind bars. David Brinson is serving 4 consecutive life terms without the possibility of parole for the execution-style murders of 4 men during a 1990 robbery in Los Angeles. He was convicted in 1994 and just narrowly missed the death penalty. Now, according to the LA Times, here's what happened. Brinson reportedly believed one of his victims, Robert Marks, was a high-level cocaine dealer. He stormed into Marks's home demanding drugs and money. But after ransacking the place and finding almost nothing, Brinson made a decision that would change the rest of his life and end someone else's. Prosecutors say he forced Marks and 3 other men to lie face down on the floor and then shot each of them in the back of the head, execution style. His victims included 59-year-old Robert Marks, his roommate, 28-year-old Gene McCullers, and 2 visitors, Celadino Ligtas, who was 33, and William Terry, who was 27 years old. Despite his violent past, Brinson was still allowed visitors. According to the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation website, some inmates are eligible for family visits, which is defined as visits that occur in private apartment-like facilities on prison grounds and last approximately 30 to 40 hours. On November 13th, 2024, Brinson and his wife were in the middle of a conjugal visit. Just after 2 a.m., prison officials say Brinson used the family unit phone to call for help, claiming his wife had passed out. Officers attempted to resuscitate her, but it was too late. Stephanie Dowles was pronounced dead at 2:51 a.m. At first, her death was believed to be from natural causes. Now, 4 months later, the Amador County coroner confirmed Stephanie was strangled. What's unclear is how long she had been at the prison and when exactly she arrived. Stephanie, known as Stevie, was 62 years old. Her family told KCRA she was a hairstylist and a small business owner. Her mother, Ovetta Wilson, called her, quote, the glue that held the family together. She was a mother of 2 and a grandmother of 6. Her family, devastated by her death, is now demanding answers from the prison. Like, how did this happen? And how are people with multiple murder convictions allowed to have conjugal visits? According to the CDCR, while certain inmates, like those on death row or convicted of sex offenses, are banned from these types of visits, multiple murder convictions are not listed as a restriction. Regarding security for family visits, an officer tasked with monitoring a visit can check in unannounced, but every effort shall be made to ensure the privacy of the inmate and their visitors, according to the CDCR manual. As of now, no charges have been filed, and officials say the case remains under investigation. The Amador County Sheriff's Office confirmed to the Los Angeles Times that Brinson is officially suspected of killing his wife. If convicted, this would be Brinson's 5th murder charge. And joining me now is prison consultant Justin Paperny. Justin, it's great to have you, and we want to get your perspective. First, how strict is security during conjugal visits or family visits, and are inmates ever left completely alone with their visitors?
Well, during a regular visitation in prison, there's always going to be guards inside of that room watching. There can be some embracing at the beginning and end of a visit. Sometimes prisoners get frisky. They'll break it down. They'll shut it down. They can end the visit for that prisoner and everyone. When there's a conjugal visit, part of it is you've earned the right through good behavior to actually have some privacy. So it's not going to be total scrutiny, but there will be some checking in. But with that comes some time alone, and allegedly some devastating things can follow, like allegedly someone getting killed.
I want to thank our sponsor, Odoo, for making news stories like this possible. Odoo is an incredible all-in-one business management software that provides you with a range of applications. One of my favorite Odoo applications is their website builder. With their drag and drop feature and AI copywriter helping me come up with website descriptions, I built a website for my adorable dog in literally minutes. A couple minutes later, and boom, I now have dashthedog.com. So thanks to Odoo for sponsoring our news packages and getting me a website for my sweet dog. Build your website now. The domain is free for the first year when you use our link, odoo.com/lcnewsweb. What kind of background checks or screenings do visitors have to go through before being approved for family visits?
Anyone who visits in a prison is going to go through a comprehensive background check. You have to get approved to visit. If you have a DUI, any arrest, everything has to be disclosed, and then the prison is going to eventually approve or not allow the visitation. So there is a comprehensive screening before anyone's allowed to go in. Also, you're supposed to know someone before you actually visit, meaning if you're in prison and you meet someone, it could get harder to get approved to visit if you didn't know them before you went to prison. There should be some connection.
And how common is it for violent offenders to be granted family visits? And do you think policies around this should change?
It is pretty common, as we see here, and this person had been in prison for a very long time and apparently had built up a record that compelled prison staff to think, okay, he's worthy of these niceties, so to speak. The problem is when something like this happens, everyone's going to be held accountable. And that's sort of like prison. Even in a minimum security camp, you don't clean the microwaves well enough, no one's going to get the microwaves for a week. So in a scenario like this, prisoners who have earned it through good behavior, who are following policy and programming and preparing to come home, they are going to pay the ultimate price for this, because of course there's going to be investigations. It's going to lead to more scrutiny, and prison is concerned about safety. So you can expect them to say, for the time being, we're going to shut down this process while we reevaluate our processes. So people who have earned it are really going to struggle. And of course, I empathize for the family who's enduring this traumatic tragedy.
Are there any security measures in place inside these family units, and how often are they checked by the prison staff?
Well, there are certainly security measures, and they're supposed to be checked every single day, repeatedly, to make sure that the prisoner has the privacy they need, but also there's checks and protocols to make sure they are supervising the prisoner. So whether it's hourly or every few hours, they're supposed to check that there's been a screening, they've watched, that everything is in order. But in an instance like this, if this person actually committed this crime, how long would it take? Just a minute or two, a few minutes? So if you're sick and you want to kill someone and you have a little semblance of privacy, you don't need much time. So that's the problem with these conjugal visits. It is different than a visitation where you are always in front of staff. If you're going to have some privacy and you have someone who is sick and wants to hurt, all you need is just a few moments for it to happen.
And you have some people that are asking, why do these inmates who, had to do bad things, and that's why they are in jail and prison, why are they even allowed conjugal visits? What do you say to that?
Certainly a policy question. I served time in federal prison where there were no conjugal visits, and a judge and probation officer would say to you, if you were so concerned about conjugal visits, you probably shouldn't have broken the law. That is a consequence of your conviction. This is a state issue, and some states like California can be more liberal, allow these for people. They've determined through time and policy that this is a benefit some prisoners should have. Certainly other states say no, but in the federal system, they say absolutely no chance. In California, my home state, a little more liberal, they'll say this is a human need, and if someone's built a record that shows why they're a candidate for this closeness, which could lead to a better reintegration, connection to family, it's a benefit we're going to allow. But you can expect more scrutiny and perhaps a change in policy because of it, and a lot of upset prisoners as well.
Based on your experience, how do inmates serving life sentences without parole behave differently from those with a chance of release?
So I would argue there's two approaches. I only served a year in prison. My partner served 26 years in prison, including 8 years in the penitentiary, where he served time with people serving life sentences. And I've heard there are two directions that people can go. One can say, I'm serving life in prison, so I don't really care what happens to me if I break the law, get into disciplinary infractions. I'm here for the remainder of my life. Others will say, yes, I'm here for the remainder of my life, but I want to educate, I want to teach, I want to mentor young prisoners who someday will leave, that there's a better path. Our program, our nonprofit, for example, we do work in every California prison. So prisoners serving life sentences will go through our work. So some will say, I want to educate and teach and give back and make sure nobody returns. Others will say, I don't care, I'm going to live my life. There are things that I want. And in some instances, continue to commit crime and allegedly, kill people, including family members.
Are there any warning signs that an inmate could become violent towards a visitor, or are there cases like this where it could be, unpredictable?
Well, if you look at the history of this prisoner killing people in cold blood in 1994, right? So you have the history that led someone to a life sentence in prison. So right out of the gate, that is a telltale sign. Then you look at their prison record. What have they been doing? Are they programming? Are they going to education? Are they going to counseling? Are they building some record that shows that they're a candidate for this? Or is it, we're going to let anyone who has access or who has been in prison long enough qualify for this program? We're of the opinion that you should earn your way home. You should earn your way, if they allow conjugal visits, to having a conjugal visit. You should earn your way to a furlough or more visitation. Rather than calendar pages turning and everyone benefits the same way, you should build a record that shows this is why I'm a candidate. And if you've built that record, you're less likely to have these issues, rather than saying we're going to allow it to everyone. It doesn't incentivize people to become better and qualify if everyone's going to get the same treatment, whether you watch the Kardashians or Sons of Anarchy all day in prison or you program.
What typically happens when an inmate calls for help in a situation like this? Is there usually an immediate assumption of foul play, or what?
Based on the record, there's usually an immediate assumption of foul play. Of course, they're going to send that prisoner to isolation, or they're going to lock that prisoner up during the investigation. And oftentimes there'll be a security lockdown, which can be very uncomfortable for prisoners who are in their prison routine, where it's now stopped and derailed, because many of them can go to segregation as well, especially if you knew that prisoner. So when I was in prison, if someone escaped, what they do is they immediately question everyone that prisoner associated with. In many instances, they may go to the holes for 1, 2, or 3 weeks where the investigation plays out. So everyone's routine is really disrupted, much higher security and fewer benefits for prisoners, which is a shame because many prisoners have earned these benefits through good conduct and good programming.
And if we can dive a little bit more into what the investigation potentially will look like, what would a proper investigation into a prison homicide, be? Could you break it down for us? And do you think this case will be handled differently because of the circumstances?
I think they know there's going to be more scrutiny on it, and the public's going to want accountability and some prudent transparency about what they found, the protocols, the breakdown. For example, how long were they left alone? Who approved this conjugal visit, given why this person was actually in prison? So I think there's going to be transparency around the investigation. I think people will be held accountable if there were some breakdowns along the way. That's been part of the problem with corrections in the past. We saw Epstein, who hung himself. The guards really weren't held accountable, and that led to conspiracy theories and things like that. So the investigation will be transparent. It will be very long. You can expect there to be changes in policy around who gets conjugal visits, if at all. And the way bureaucracy works, you can expect weeks and months and potentially years from now this investigation to be ongoing, especially in a state with California where they lack the resources that the federal government may have. It's going to take some time to do it correctly.
Given that the officers immediately performed life-saving measures, tried to resuscitate the victim, could there have been a delay in realizing that she had been strangled?
I don't know. From what I've read, they, once they heard, they got in there as quickly as they could. And I think this comes back to what we discussed a little bit earlier. In visitation, you were going to have staff on you. So had this happened in a visitation room, staff would have pounced on you immediately. But if you have just a few minutes of time alone in a room with no windows or staff or cameras, that's all it takes. So I commend them for getting in as quickly as they could, but the damage, as we know, was already done. And I can understand the family asking questions like, how could this happen? How could they leave them alone? Do you not understand why he was serving a life sentence in prison? And just a few seconds is apparently all this person needed.
Is there a reason why there aren't cameras in the rooms? I mean, I understand wanting privacy, but just with the situation, given that this is a prison, why aren't there cameras?
Because I believe they deem this prisoner has reprogrammed himself, has had good enough behavior over decades in prison that he has changed his criminal thinking, or at least that this is going to be a family member and this is a perk that he has earned. Why would he want to ruin that? So the prisoner is managing like dignity. This is a human connection that somebody needs versus security of the institution. It's a very thin line, and which is why correction tends to go in one direction or the other. It could be too loose, too many privileges. And now when this happens, what do? They totally reverse course. We're going to shut it down. No conjugal visits. They'll probably reassess who should actually get these visits, depending on the crime, how long are they in prison, what is their record while they're in prison, rather than just allowing everyone to have it. It's part of the reason the federal system says it ain't going to happen. You don't deserve it if you're in prison for a crime, but there are too many risks that accompany having a conjugal visit. And we're seeing the risk versus reward right now. It's led to the loss of a life and a reevaluation of policy. That much I can tell you.
Now, right now, we're unsure how the victim and the suspect met each other. We don't know how many years they have been married. But how do romantic relationships between inmates and visitors typically develop? And do prisons monitor them in any way?
It's very common to have these sorts of relationships. There are many websites where prisoners can document their journey through prison, and women can certainly follow them and connect. They can write letters to the prison. In some instances, they can get approved to visit. So we've seen people serving time who are on death row. The Menendez brothers, Charlie Manson, found love interests. So it's absolutely possible. Then they'll come and visit. A romance will grow over time. And in a case like California, they're going to allow these conjugal visits. But having served time in prison and having been in this space for 15 years, having worked with thousands and thousands of people through White Collar Advice, it is not hard for someone in prison to cultivate a romance with someone in the community. It's easier than you would ever imagine.
Are there psychological aspects, though, of prison relationships that could explain why someone would maintain a relationship with a convicted mass murderer?
Well, there's a stigma that follows a woman or man dating someone in prison. You have low self-esteem. There's something wrong with you. You had issues growing up. In some instances, people just fall in love and there's a connection. Some spouses who have married people in prison have said to me, it's almost easier in a way. We're not living together 24 hours a day. I get to visit them in a controlled setting. We get to have this sort of connection where they're in prison and I'm at home. It's much easier. Oftentimes when that prisoner comes home and they're living together again and they're working in this frenetic pace of day-to-day life, it becomes much harder. I've seen a lot of those relationships split up. It's like what we said we were going to do in prison, we didn't follow through and I came home. So I think it's a connection aspect and getting something that they currently were not getting from people in everyday regular life. And they find that connection in prison. Many of them actually work out. Some of the best relationships I know are people who have connected and married in prison. And in some instances, it can go totally awry, as we've seen here.
And for those instances where things go awry, what are some risks that people, especially women, should be aware of before getting romantically involved with an inmate?
Well, we have to embrace the idea that some people in prison are there because they manipulate. They have broken the law, right? Some people in prison are narcissists. They lack empathy, right? They could be looking to exploit you, to manipulate you, to take advantage of you. And if you are vulnerable or easy to exploit or looking for some fantasy that you're currently not getting in your real world, you can be manipulated and fall for it. Many people in prison have been successful, good salespeople, have the ability to get what they want. And if you are vulnerable, you can fall victim to these sorts of things. And then people will defend you and say, well, you don't know them how I do. You see this with mass murderers, people serving life. You don't know them how I know them. There's a side of you aren't seeing. You got it wrong. The government has a different version of events. They're out to get him. You haven't seen what I have seen. And in many ways, you could argue they fall victim for it, as others have as well, just in a little different area. Love.
Now, earlier we touched on the possibility of things potentially changing after this incident would have happened. Do you think prisons should reevaluate who is eligible for family visits?
there is no doubt prisons should reevaluate who is eligible. Just like we think people should earn their way home. Like I said, rather than just watching TV all day, you should get rewarded if you build a record, show that you're law-abiding, growing your network, educating yourself, programming, demonstrating to taxpayers why you will never return to another courtroom and hurt people. Those prisoners who do that work and document it and build it and share evidence of growth should be rewarded with myriad benefits. Perhaps in California, it's conjugal visits. Perhaps it could be furloughs. Perhaps it could be earning more time off of their sentence. We believe in a merit-based system. If you do the work, you should get rewarded and also earn your way home more quickly.
Now, should there be stricter monitoring of inmates who are already serving life sentences to prevent cases like this, or do you think that the prison system does a good job?
There should be more monitoring. It wouldn't surprise me in the end if they just say conjugal visits are going to continue, but certain crimes are going to be totally disallowed, right? Perhaps they'll say if you're serving a life sentence, if you have no release date, which compels someone to continue to engage in bad behavior because they're never coming home, it wouldn't surprise me if they draw a line in the sand and say that's it. Maybe someone serving 20 years, 15 years, 10 years, who's working their way home, who is less inclined to break the law because they have a clearly defined release date, but also they are demonstrating why they're a candidate for an earlier release. That's the type of prisoner I suspect will be rewarded. So I expect conjugal visits in California to continue, because you could expect probably liberal lawmakers to say, this has been going on for decades. It's a benefit for prisoners. This is an isolated incident. In situations like this, these things unfortunately will happen. The greater good still benefits, even though in this case, the family has been absolutely devastated. You can expect it to continue with some policy changes, perhaps the length of the sentence and the crime that led that person to prison. That just seems logical to me, but logic doesn't always dictate corrections in this country.
If Brenton is charged with his wife's murder, how will that impact his current life sentence, if at all?
They're just going to add another life sentence. And he could spend perhaps more time in segregation. I believe he's already if he's not at the higher security prison, you can expect him to go up to a higher security prison, but he's already in for the rest of his life. That comes back to what we said earlier. Some prisoners serving life sentences want to help other prisoners, ensure they never come back. Others just want to engage and break the law and care less, because they say the only way I'm getting out of here is in a body bag. So what the hell's the difference? I'm just going to live my life.
Well, this is something that we will be following closely. Thank you so much, Justin, for taking the time today.
Thank you for the invitation.
In a statement, CDCR told law
So as y'all was able to see that, this lady lost her life. She went out. She actually felt she found love. She got married. She thought she was doing everything the right way. And this guy took her life. So I know that people are like looking for love. You're on these websites. You're talking to people that are in jail for certain different crimes and things like that. This is not new. This has happened before to people. We've seen it. We've heard it. We've seen it, But unfortunately, this happened back in 2024 in November, and this, and it's just a sad case. It's just a very sad case, right? So, I don't know if you guys had heard about this story, but this story has went viral on pretty much every platform. Everybody's been talking about this, and I didn't think conjugal visits still exist, actually. I thought they took them away, but neither here or there. There's definitely some things that they got to consider when you're giving an inmate conjugal visits, especially the crime that they have committed. You would want to think that they're probably not safe to have conjugal visits with anybody, and stuff like that. So neither here or there. This lady has, she has been unalived, and she's lost her life thinking that she was visiting someone that loved her. And I'm pretty sure they had a lot of conversation. There was a lot of visits. There was a lot of writing each other. There was a lot of her looking out for him. I can't imagine what was said in that room and why it went left, and that he would then make that call at 2:00 in the morning, where he would then have hurt her. Yeah, so it's a very sad case. We're going to be coming to you guys with more true crimes. Again, this is a pre-recorded video, and so we're going to come to you with more crimes, more true crimes. You're welcome to comment. You're welcome to talk about this in the comments. We will definitely interact in the comments with everybody. I'm sorry that Nikki is not up here. She had some technical difficulties with her equipment, so she ended up having to drop down, but she wanted to let me, she wanted me to tell y'all good night and thank you for joining the Buzz on the Block true crime episode, viral true crime episode with us. Thank y'all. We appreciate y'all, and we want everybody to have a good night. Thank you, everybody. See y'all later.